Here's a sneak peek of what your Echo can do that we're going to discuss in this very episode. Almost forgot. Extra bonus. I almost forgot. So with this Echo Pop, they do have new accessories you can get, as you would probably expect. Well, hello. As you could see from our prelude this week, we're going to be dealing with some new product announcements from Amazon about new Amazon Echoes. We're going to look at a new Echo, totally different line of device that they just released, and of course a revision of a classic that is the Echo Show 5 or the Echo 5. Anywho, for our new listeners, we'd like to welcome you. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, based here in Southwest Virginia in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And so it's good to have you with us. You'll find our episodes are little nuggetized episodes between 5 to 15 minutes long. And we try to cover new topics, new hardware, new equipment, skills, home automation, everything from things for kids and families to seniors to caregivers, those with disabilities, all sorts of different scenarios and the ways in which, the A-Lady, the Amazon Echo line of devices can be helpful. Anywho, we'd like to welcome you, and for our returning listeners, we'd love to welcome you back as well. Well over 110,000 listens to the podcast, and at the tail end of the episode, we'll mention some ways you can reach out to us. So before we delve into this new product announcement at the end of the month of May from Amazon about new hardware, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again, and welcome back to the podcast. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be dealing with new hardware announcements, so it's kind of a little bit, I don't know, maybe I have to look back at the track record, but a little odd. Usually it seems like lately we've been getting major product announcements in the fall. That seems to be more in line with Amazon's style. Of course, they usually drop a lot of announcements in the fall. I mean, I'm talking like 15 different products and things like that, revisions of products, things like that. Sometimes some just crazy stuff, robots and talking rings and smart glasses and just crazy stuff. But kind of different this time with the kind of the spring, summertime time frame. So a little different. So let's get right into it. The new product they announced, which is a totally different category as far as I'm concerned, but we're going to talk about how it's really, I think, very similar to the Echo Dot. And that new product is called the Echo Pop. So who better else to ask? Pop. See, I can see my pop filter on my microphone's working well. Echo Pop. So anyway, let's see if our A-Lady can tell us a little bit about it. If you have an Echo in hearing distance to me, by the way, you may want to shut its ears off because I'm going to trigger it now. All right, so here we go. Let's see if she can talk a little bit about herself. Alexa, tell me about the Echo Pop.
Echo Pop is a compact smart speaker with me, featuring full sound that's great for apartments, bedrooms, and small spaces in the home. It's small enough to blend in and mighty enough to stand out.
All right, mighty enough to stand out. Woo! All right, that's some serious marketing speak there. So let me break this down to you, for you guys, a little bit about the Echo Pop. So you, of course, can pre-order it now. It looks like it doesn't ship till the very end of May. So I would expect that first week of June is when you get it to arrive. Most importantly, I think price-wise, is it's kind of set down where the Echo Dot is. It is their newest, like almost cheap, probably the cheapest or one of the cheapest offerings, and it comes in at $39.99, I do believe, here in the United States. So there you go. That is how much it costs versus the retail price of the Echo Dot 5th generation, which is the most current one, which comes in at $49.99. So it's only like $10 difference. So it kind of makes you wonder, really, what are we dealing with? Now, I think it's it's one of the cheapest. I mean, they might still be making those Echo like outlet plug thingies that double as a kind of like a smart plug outlet, but also have the A-Lady built into them so you can talk to them. I've never tried one of those. I don't even know if they still make those, but those were somewhere probably around this price point. So this new Echo Pop is a pretty cool little device. Oh, look at that! I found a 5th generation Echo Dot that's the same price as the new Pop. Well, they didn't think that went through very much. It's on sale at the same price. So I guess you want the newer thing, yeah, you pay the same price. But the 5th generation just came out not too long ago either. I mean, just I think this past fall. So anyway, so form factor wise, that is the shape and size of it. What does it look like? It really looks exactly the same as an Echo Dot almost. I mean, to look at it in the photos, it may look a little more egg-shaped than round. But to be honest, I don't think you're gonna really notice a huge. It's still that kind of sphere shape. Now they did change some things about it. Let me give you the actual dimensions here. So I mean, because we'll start with the form factor and then the feature difference, which is nominal. So it is 3.9 inches in width, okay, and it's kind of ball-shaped, kind of like a snow globe, like the Echo Dot. The Echo Dot is 3.9 inches, okay, so those are the exact same widths. Its depth is 3.3 inches, I guess from front to back, while the Echo Dot is 3.9 inches. Okay, so it's a little wider. The Dot is a little wider. This is a little narrower. And height-wise, it's 3.6 inches versus the Echo Dot's 3.5 inches. I guess my description is pretty accurate. It's even though I don't see that well, it's egg-shaped, so it's kind of a little more elongated and narrower. Not much taller. I mean, 0.1 inches taller, but it's definitely, because it's narrower, kind of gives it maybe that perspective. Huh. Well, definitely very kind of interesting. Now, physically different from it is the speaker is, ironically, being a cheaper device, is slightly bigger. Not too sure what the implications. It's 1.95 inches front-facing firing speaker. So same as the Echo Dot where it projects out in the room. The 5th generation, the 4th generation, project out in the room. You might remember the hockey puck ones. They did more of like, I think they projected either straight up or straight down, versus the 1.7 inch front firing speaker on the Echo Dot. So it is a slightly like 0.2 of an inch or something, 0.2 inches larger, so that's kind of interesting. I don't know. That's obviously going to probably affect the sound quality, but the branding here in the breakdown says that it has full sound. Full sound. I don't. While the Echo Dot is described as having bigger volume sound, so I don't know. I mean, even though it has a bigger speaker, I guess it is in a smaller form factor. They could clearly say it's a compact speaker for smaller rooms and stuff like that. So I guess when we talk about the width, the diameter of the unit, there's a resonance maybe going on with the smaller, with the Dot, with a smaller speaker. So maybe that helps the sound bounce out better. But yeah, they clearly say here it's for bedrooms and small spaces, the Echo Pop versus the Echo Dot. It says any room will be fine. So so I don't know. Now, I think functionally different from that, it's basically like a redone Dot Makes me wonder if the Dot is still going to be a thing. So what does it lack and what does it have that the Echo Dot doesn't? Well, I'd say it has a cheaper price. That's all it's got. Of course, right now I can get an Echo Dot for the same price. So, but what does it lack? Two critical things I would say it lacks is it does not have the motion detection capability. So if you had routines that were connected with the ability to do that, whatever it calls it, subsonic, like I think it uses subsonic signals or it doesn't use Wi-Fi, but it can detect the presence of somebody entering or exiting a room. It doesn't have that sensor capability, which, is okay. I don't know how well that works or anybody uses that hardly. Although it is kind of a nice trigger to like notify you the notifications, because it detects presence, it goes ding, ding. Temperature sensor doesn't have the temperature sensor. So the Echo 5th generation Dot does have a temperature sensor. The previous generation, 4th generation, does not have a temperature. So this one also has no temperature sensor. So if you had routines or you wanted to ask it what temperature the room was, you're not going to get that functionality with this. But and again, it's $39, which golly knows what that means if it actually was on sale. Probably like $20. But yeah, it doesn't have a temperature sensor. Now, interestingly enough, it does have very sophisticated Wi-Fi capability, and they might have poured some of this money into the back end kind of processing capability, because this one does act as an Eero. They call it an Eero built in the chart flow out here, but basically that means it acts like an Eero Wi-Fi extender. So if you had a Eero Wi-Fi router and network, some of the internet companies that provide internet will actually sell Eeros. I know here in our area, Glo Fiber does, or they at least distribute that with their residential internet. So if you had one of those, this Eero can be set to pair and be basically like broaden your Wi-Fi. I forget exactly what the square footage was they gave, like an extra, I think 1,000 square feet or something like that. Maybe less than that, maybe. But now this isn't new functionality. The Echo Dot 5th generation has this capability as well. So it's not like you're getting anything new with that, but it was kind of sold here as like one you could put closer to the door or down in a garage or something like that. It also has a lot more color schemes to fit different rooms and things like that. They did change where the light bar is. So on the Echo Dot, you might recall the light ring was actually stuck on the bottom of the unit. Don't know who thought that was a good engineering idea. It's kind of cute in some instances, depending on where you got it, like on a shelf or something. But in other instances, it's kind of obscured. You can't really tell the light's lighting up if you were wanting to see that, unless you got it on a stand or something. So the new one, though, the new Echo Pop, has moved the light back to the top. So I believe it's a circular light. It might even be a bar light, but there's a light indicator on the top that lights up, as you can see from the videos. If you go online and watch the videos on YouTube or something, there's a light bar on top. So I think that's probably a good move. Put it back up where it's more visible. Okay, so that's basically it for the Echo Pop. I will run through the basics here. I think you would probably assume that it has these, but just for our listeners to know, it does have pretty advanced dual band Wi-Fi, which you would expect if it's going to be mirroring Eero routers. It supports Wi-Fi A, B, G, N, AC, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. And of course, we use the more modern nomenclatures about Wi-Fi levels. 1, 2, I think it's 4, 5, 6. I can't remember. I used to know the old way, not the modern way. So I have to always go look it up. But modern Wi-Fi specs and things like that. It also supports Amazon Sidewalk. It doesn't do the Zigbee support, but it's a very basic device, so it's not going to be like a bridge or anything. It does do Sidewalk, which is, I think, one of the reasons they suggested, like you could put it out maybe in the corner of your house to extend the Wi-Fi and maybe extend even the Sidewalk capability, which, just as a reminder, is like a low energy power thing where you could put like sensors in your mailbox that could pick up, when the mailbox has been opened or closed, or maybe work with sprinklers out in the yard or things like that you could get functionality. Now, of course, it's going to support all the new home automation things with Amazon, including what is it? Amazon, Matter protocol, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Bluetooth Low Energy, and Bluetooth Low Energy Mesh. So it supports all of those different things. So I think that's basically all the basics about it. High quality Bluetooth audio support. I think it says it can be paired with the remote. That was something you really wanted to do. So, and there's a whole breakdown more about the Eero built-in capabilities to extend your network. It has certain limitations, I think, in how much throughput it can push to other devices that are on that far edge of your network. I think it's like 100 megabits or something like that, but feel free to check that out. It's kind of a nice freebie feature to be thrown in, I would think, just as long as it doesn't mess up your network or clog up your network. But being that it's Eero is known for probably solidity, good security updates and practices like that. So super cool. All right, so with that in mind, we're going to move over to our other product announcement. Ta-da! We're going to talk about the Echo Show 5. And in fact, let's ask Alexa about that. Alexa, tell me about the Echo Show 5.
From Wikipedia.org, the Echo Show 5 does everything you would expect an Alexa-powered smart display to do: play music, control smart home gadgets, make video calls, and display information like calendar events or weather forecasts. If you'd like another answer, just say, next.
So the other product we're talking about is a new revised Echo Show 5, which is the third generation, now released in 2023. This product is selling for right now, and this will probably be the standard retail price, $89.99. Ta-da! So, and of course, as usual, you can probably expect sales and different things like that. So that might be the thing to look at. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Echo Show 5, it's really tiny with a 5.5-inch screen. It's really designed kind of almost like a bedside clock thing with the clock on there. But like typical Echo Shows, it does allow for video conferencing and other features like that, or use it like a security camera. It does have a 2-megapixel camera in it. Still has the built-in security shutter thing, so you can always shut that off. You know, a lot of people would know they wouldn't want that on all the time. So yeah, definitely it has your dual band Wi-Fi that we would probably expect. You know, like we described, A, B, C, G, N, AC, all of those sorts of good things. Has all of that. Supports Amazon Sidewalk. Really, none of this has really changed. I've heard the form factor is a little different. It looks a little bit like the edges look a little different. And the speaker is a little oriented differently. Now, I haven't read that here, but I've heard other folks describe that. If that was interesting to you, you might want to look more into it. Since it is a very tiny form factor, it has a 1.75-inch built-in full-range speaker, which that sounds almost identical to an Echo Dot. It might even be the same part. It might be slightly different. I can't remember if the other one was 1.73 or something. But it has that speaker in it. Now, I think historically, according to one podcaster I saw or on a video show, was a video blog, was the past one fired the speaker down like against the table it was sitting on, and that kind of created a very specific sound effect that maybe not have been optimal. But supposedly this newer model, it's supposed to be firing straight out the back, so kind of, you know, straight out into the room or against the wall behind you, you know. So that might create a better acoustics. I'm not too sure, but will probably sound better. Even though it's practically the same form factor. Of course, it's going to have a new processor and some things like that. But yeah, basically the same Echo Show 5 we've always seen and loved, just, you know, newer and updated. Okay, well, that will pretty much wrap up. There were a few other announcements from Amazon. I believe there was 11-inch tablet announced and things like that, but we don't necessarily need to cover that. Although I will say you can turn on the A-Lady on your Fire tablets, so you could just holler at your tablet and have it do stuff, or even have go into like show mode. So anyhow, well, that will bring this podcast to a close. Yes, indeedy. So Anywho, by the way, it was kind of cute, wasn't it? How she couldn't even describe the Echo Show 5. They didn't default to their own answer on that. They had to go look for a resource. It was kind of goofy. Anyhow, so if you'd like to reach out to me with thoughts or suggestions, I would love to hear ideas for future episodes or topics or questions or skills you're interested in. I actually got a question from a client or a student yesterday about email on the Echo line of devices. It used to be a native feature on the Echoes. A lady here in the United States, they pulled it out, I think, more than a year ago or so. So are there any third-party solutions? We're going to be maybe, I don't know, I'm going to dig around for that. But I would love to hear feedback about other show ideas and suggestions, or just tell us that you love the podcast. That would be great. You can reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. And you can even email us at info@goodwillvalleys.com and just say, hey, you're trying to contact David of the Echo Tips podcast, and they'll forward that on to me. All right, well, you know what time it is. It's time to turn the ears back on your Echo, start practicing some of the many things you've learned. Oh, I almost forgot. Extra bonus. I almost forgot. So with this Echo Pop, they do have new accessories you can get, as you would probably expect. Accessories for like shelves. You can put it on a wall, a little stand you can put it on that also doubles as a USB charging station for like your phone or your tablets, and a few other things like that. Now, since the form factor did change between that and the Echo Dot, is more narrow, these stands are they are apparently specifically designed with the Echo Pop in mind. So just bear that in mind. You always want to make sure you match up the stand with the right thing. And they even, I found a battery pack for the Echo Pop too. So if you want to pop that on there and take it with you outside onto the porch or something and just have a battery pack, I saw those as well. Most of that stuff was ranging in somewhere in the $30 and down level, depending on what the item was. All right, well, like I said, let's try this again. We thank you for your listenership this week. Enjoy the many things that you've learned. Until next time, I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem, ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.